So I went to go see Jersey Boys. It's the biographical-ish adaptation of a Broadway play about the Four Seasons. You know, the music group from back in the 60s and 70s. They did, like, Sherry, Big Girls Don't Cry, Walk Like a Man. Ooh, and it's directed by Clint Eastwood. Yep, you heard me right. It's directed by Clint Eastwood, and it stars Vincent Piazza and John Lloyd Young, who played Frankie Valli in the original musical. He won a Tony Award for that one. Ooh, and there's also a bit of an extended cameo, kind of like a minor character appearance from Christopher Walken, which is always fantastic because Christopher Walken. I almost feel like I don't really know what to say here. I mean, I do, but it's a little bit hard to sort of bring up the words because I hear the play is kind of fantastic, a lot of fun, but the movie is it's just okay at best, honestly. So if you look at the film, there's everything needed to tell a good story in here. I mean, there's connections with the mob, there's a story of a rise to the top and then a fall from great heights, there's divorce and marriage and internal squabbles and gambling problems, and it's all there. And, you know, if you look at it, it's all interesting, it's very interesting. Except, you know, as with a lot of these films that take place over a long period of time, it doesn't really focus on any of them. It's trying to tell all of them. And so it brings up all these big points and narrates bits in between, which just leaves a lot of it feeling flat. You don't get a connection to the characters. You don't really feel for them. They're just there and doing things, and it doesn't impact you at all. And so, you know, regardless of how well shot some of the scenes might be and how funny some of the quips are, and it just doesn't resonate, and it doesn't hold your interest, it doesn't engage you. Pretty much the only parts that really, really worked for me were the musical numbers. That's when the film comes alive. You can really feel the emotion in the actors' voices when they're singing, and it really works. But that's just a small bit of the movie, unfortunately. The rest of it is just kinda there and bland. Sorry to say. Well, it's decently shot though, so there's that. But of course, you know, it doesn't look any better or worse than most other period pieces, you know, set in the 60s, 70s. It just looks okay. Ooh, there's Christopher Walken doing his Christopher Walken thing, and I don't know about you, but I always kind of smile inside when I see him in a film. Regardless of how phoning it in he might be in any particular film, it's just always fun to watch. And I have to admit, he's kind of phoning it in a little bit in this one, just a smidge. I've seen worse, but he's not giving it his all, unfortunately. Don't misunderstand me. Jersey Boys is not a bad movie. Far from it. It's just not a good movie either. It just kind of exists in that realm of, it was okay. Now, there's a lot of interesting things that happen in the film. It just sort of, you know, glosses by them really quickly. It doesn't resonate. The musical performances were fantastic, but if that's the draw for you, just buy the album and skip the movie. It's better in the long run, honestly. You don't waste money. You don't feel gypped, because I mean it's decent performances with a decent script. It's just, you're not going to walk out of the theater, you know, really wowed or seriously entertained from the film. I also, it's kind of criminal, they have Christopher Walken in the movie, and he doesn't really dance except for in the end credits, and even then it's like off to the corner. That's just not right. So like right up here-ish somewhere, I'm going to put a link to Christopher Walken dancing. Feel free to click on that. But until next time, enjoy film.